They're so
But it
used
could
to-
fuck with you the other way too, man. I had a buddy of mine who had a brother who terrorized him. His brother was just like super mean, beat the shit out of him, like would physically beat him up all the time, and he was bigger and older.
It's bully.
Yeah, and this guy was like a good-looking guy. He was smart, but he always had this fucking terrible insecurity. There was this thing about him, and then one time we had a conversation about it. He's like, my brother just beat the fuck out of me my whole life. He's like, he was like living with, like, he was being terrorized by his brother, and nobody did anything about it.
His brother was
the parents didn't want to get involved.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It just fucked up his head forever.
When you get a sibling that's abusing you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, because you really can't do shit about it. But that's, you know, hey, guys like that at this point that they're still having this hang up, psilocybin.
Yeah.
Go to a therapist, do that treatment, and
It'll help you.
it's almost like, you know, when people go do the ayahuasca thing and they got the shaman guiding you through, you know what I mean? And you need guidance with stuff like that.
Also, you need guidance because there's probably a bunch of medications that people take that you wouldn't ever want to take with mushrooms.
Oh, hell no.
Like, you would want to talk to a doctor. Like, there's got to be, right? Like,
Yeah.
What medications are dangerous when mixed with psilocybin? Google that. Because there's got to be some stuff like MAO inhibitors and stuff that would make you lose your fucking marbles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, McKenna told some story about he took some sort of an MAO inhibitor and mushrooms at the same time, and he almost lost his mind. I believe that was the combination he was talking about.
That's crazy.
But it was just way too much. And it took him a while before he could sort of, the way he was describing it was much more eloquent, but he was like talking about how he was trying to reformulate reality, essentially. That it wasn't
went deep.
Yeah, he was like gone, like, oh my God, I'm never coming back gone.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just took a while, and then eventually, there's stories of him and his brother. They took mushrooms in the Amazon, and they found these fresh mushrooms, and the brother went way too hard. He went way too hard.
In the Amazon, he took
Dennis,
mushrooms. That's crazy.
And he was gone for weeks. He was gone for weeks.
Yeah, some folks don't come back from that as quickly as others, and some people stay.
Yeah. Some people stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you lose if you're like prone to like having mental issues already, it's probably not a good idea to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Not without a guide.
Not without a guide. And even then, like, probably you should just do a little.
Yeah, moderate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a doctor, clearly. Don't take my advice on anything. But in that regard, I would say, like, what they did was wild. They just ate a pile of them. Like, who knows how much
crazy.
it was. And there's, like, fresh mushrooms in the Amazon, and he was apparently just fucking gone.
You know, people are going extra hard on the mushrooms as of late. Like, you know, we talk about it on the Dr. Greenthumb show, right? And we were talking about, you know what, one day we're going to do, you know, a microdose before we go on, or a moderate dose, right? And we did that, and everything was fucking hilarious to us, right? After that show, we started seeing, like, some of the fans and like, yo, this is what I'm doing today, right? And they'll send us like the shake prep, if you will. They'll do them in shakes, right? And they'll take a pile of mushrooms and grind them up in that shake, and we're like, damn, you ain't coming back for a week.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, back in the day, we used to do like an eighth before we went on stage. We'd take an eighth of mushrooms, and that was a lot for that time. But like, people are doing like double that. We're like, whoa. It's like that. You guys ain't
floating around an alternative reality.
You're going into the portal.
Yeah, you're into the portal, and then you're interacting with the material world while you're in the portal.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. If you're around like-minded people, like everybody took, and it's closed off to the world, and you guys are
nice
right
setting.
there, it's fine. But it's always the one person that might not be in the world with you in that way, and they might throw the whole damn thing off.
Yeah, that can happen
because
you're trying to
sensitive
relax.
to that. Yeah,
and you see that someone's losing their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You could be like, we're all totally here. That person doesn't understand where we're at.
Right.
Because he's not in it or she's not in it with us.
What's really important to me is it could help so many people, like so many veterans, like so many people with PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, so many people like my friend, assault victims. I think that there's a real potential that it can help, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like everything where you're monkeying with your mind. It's dangerous. It shouldn't be treated lightly.
No.
It's real stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's people that do it for, casual use to, just like someone smokes weed. Not everybody smokes weed for the health benefit of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's the same thing with mushrooms. Some people are partying with it, and some people are trying to actually get, a benefit from it in the way that it'll help them with whatever issue that they're having and that they feel it could help for. So, I think there's a different sort of responsibility on each shoulder, and I think the user knows that, right? So, like, if you're partying on it, you know where your limits are. When you're using it for medical use, you're sort of like afraid to step on the gas. You know what I mean? So I think you go a little slowly in that aspect there,
Yeah.
Because I think people still are genuinely afraid of it because they don't know about it. They've only ever heard and they're trying to experiment with it. But that's when you need someone who's experienced in it who can actually guide you through. So if you want to do a little bit more and get a little bit more of the experience, or you want to pull back.
Yeah.
Because, you always got the assholes, more, do more.
And then also the other problem with it being illegal is some of the people that provide you that experience are weirdos.
Yeah.
You gotta hang out
that too.
You gotta hang out with some weirdos if you want to trip. And some of them are cool. A lot of them are cool. But
because it's illegal.
Shrooms can cause seizures.
Not a lot of studies have been done. That's all I can find. Is that it can cause seizures. So don't mix it with things that can raise your blood pressure or heart rate.
Shrooms increase your heart rate. Shrooms can increase your heart rate in the 150 to 160 range at a normal dose. Whoa.
You're burning calories on shrooms.
Of course you are. You're freaking the fuck out. You can't believe what you're seeing. Oh, and you shouldn't take it with Molly, Ritalin, or other psychostimulant drugs. This is especially true if you have a history of heart disease or blood pressure problems.
That's
so
about most I could find.
You got to drink a lot of water, too.
Yep.
Well, maybe those are the drugs that we're talking about. So what was it again? Antidepressants, what does it say? Antihistamines, benzodiazepines, or stimulants.
Because that's a serotonin crash that can happen.
Right. So that makes sense if you were on like Xanax, right? That's a benzodiazepine, and then you did a trip. Probably not so bueno.
Not so good. And people don't do that sort of diligence before they go and do that shit.
Right.
It's just like someone has, hey, let's do some mushrooms.
Exactly.
And you don't know if your homie or homegirl are like on some medication.
Yeah. You're on some asthma medication or something and it interacts badly with it. Yeah. Not good.
Not good.